Greetings. So I've been getting asked a lot about multiple files when I'm making a flag, meaning I'm using multiple bits and I've got different kinds of artwork scattered throughout the flag. Now we all know that not everybody uses a piece of wood that's perfectly flat. A lot of the wood we get nowadays, by the time it gets home, it's cupping, it's warped, whatever the scenario may be. A lot of us deal with some wood struggles that we got to work through in order to get our finished product to look correct. So I wanted to do a quick video to help you guys. So we'll consider this CNC episode 1 as far as some educational stuff, and let's get started. So I'm working out of Microsoft Paint, so I'm just gonna draw some stuff here. Not that. I want to do a rectangle. So let's say hypothetically this is the flag. Okay, and let's say you went to my Etsy store and you bought some G-code files from me. You may get a download that's got 3 files in it. And if you're new to CNC, you may be like, what am I doing with these 3 files? So, just going to draw a little sketch here, flag. Alright, so what we have here is a spot for the stars, and then obviously you got your stripes, and then sometimes there may be some kind of logo mixed in the stripes here. So for the purpose of this video, I'm actually shooting this for a customer of mine by the name of Mike. I told him I was going to do a quick video to show him, since he's newer to CNC, what you would do in this example. So this flag is going to be an Army flag, right? In this circle is going to be the Army logo. In this rectangle area would be the stars, and then in here you have your stripes. You'd be using a 1/8 bit to cut the stripes, and you'd be using a 60-degree V-bit to cut the stars and to cut the Army logo. Now what we run into here is, because you're using an 1/8 bit and a 60-degree V-bit for these cuts, the first thing that I would do is I would put my 60-degree V-bit into the machine and I would zero to the bottom left corner. Alright, I always zero with the V-bit first because it's got that super pointy tip and it helps you find that corner of the wood better. If you were to use a 1/8 bit or a 1/4 inch bit end mill and you zeroed to that corner, you may actually, the center of that bit may actually be over just a little bit. So then when you go to cut your stars and stuff, you're going to have a little bit of gap in the wood. So step 1, always zero with your V-bit first. Alright. Second thing you need to keep in mind is that the stars are going to be carving to just over 3/8 deep, but the logo is going to be carving very shallow, so it's probably like 0.09, 0.08 in depth. So if your wood's not perfectly flat, if you were to cut the stars and the logo and you zeroed right here, what you may end up with is you may have 30 stars that are perfect, 5 that are too deep, and 5 that are too small. So this is where the 3 files come in handy. So you zero with the V-bit. Alright, so what you're really doing is you're going to zero your X and Y. Okay, so you're up and down, side to side. And then you're going to move your machine over to where the stars would be. Okay, and you're going to get a 0 point in this area for the Z. Alright, so for the height of your bit. I like to do the paper method Alright, so I'll move my machine over and I'll toggle it down just until it touches the paper, and then I will zero just the Z-axis. Then I'll raise it back up and I'll tell it to return back to the 0 location. So your machine should know where you zeroed X and Y, and based off the height that you chose from the star area, it's going to set your depth over here. Alright? Then you'll tell your machine to run, cuts the stars, returns back to its home location. Alright? Then what I'll do is I'll raise up the Z again, and I'll move the machine over to where the Army logo is going to be. And I will then get a Z 0 point in this area. So then I'll set that. My X and Y should still be the way I set it from the beginning. Then I'll tell my machine to return back to home. Whoop. It'll shoot over to this corner, and then the Z will lower to where I set it for this area. Now remember, if your wood's not flat, the Z height over here could actually be higher than what was over here. Alright? Then you'll load in that file. Well, you may have loaded it in before, but either way, you'll have that file in now. You'll tell it to do its cutting. It'll cut its thing. When it's done, it'll come back. Then you'll change your bits to the 1/8 bit. Again, your X and Y are still set, and your Z was still set from this previous location when you did the logo. So then what you'll do then is raise up your Z, move it over to really anywhere in this area. I always just choose right around this area, and I'll get my Z height. For my stripes, I only carve at 0.06 on the depth, so I'll do it in one pass. Depending on your machine, obviously you can go faster or slower depending on what software you're using. You might be able to speed the machine up or slow it down in the middle of the cut. Then you'll set your Z height here and then return it back to 0. Do your final cut on the stripes, and then you're done. Alright, it's a super simple way to be able to get your flag to do what you want, but I do it this way because I used to, when I started out, I'd carve the stripes first, and then I would cut the stars and the logo at the same time, and I would end up with usually perfect stars, but then the logo would have spots that it didn't quite carve everything perfectly. Some of it went too deep, some went too shallow, and I found that this is the best way. It might add an extra 5 minutes because you're changing files and resetting zeros, but in the end result, it's going to save you a lot of time to do it that way, because if you messed this flag up, then obviously you might be able to correct it, or you might have to turn it into firewood. Alright, and with the price of wood nowadays, I don't think anybody really wants to waste any wood. Alright, so that is, we'll say, tutorial number 1 for the month of June on setting your zeros with multiple files. If you got any questions, comments, leave them in the comments section. You want to see a different video, put that in the comments section as well, and I can, work on doing episode 2 or tutorial number 2, and I'll just continue doing that. Alright, so please have the questions come, and as always, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing some finished products. Have a great day.